Okay, so in this section we are going to see the differences between Unit 4 and Unit 5. So I have here a class that contains a Unit 4 annotations and some simple tests, and what we are going to do is we are going to create another class of Unit 5, and we are going to make a migration from this code to Unit 5. So first of all, we need to make a change in our POM XML, because like right now we just have the junit4 like dependency. We need to add like another dependency of unit 5, but we are not going just to add the dependency of unit 5, because unit 5 comes with like a vintage mode, like a dependency that contains the vintage mode, which is unit like 4. So we are going to use that in order to use both unit 4 and unit 5. So we are going to take paste the dependency here. So as you can see, junit 5 is Jupyter, and this Jupyter came with a vintage mode. It contained unit like 4, and we need to specify like which version. We need this version, and after that we need to make a refresh to our project, so the project take in consideration these dependencies, and after that everything should be fine. And here we have the junit4 class. I'm going to make a copy paste, so I'm going to make this junit 5, and we are going to see what is the differences. We already seen like in unit 4 that we have like some annotation like before class. This always it's static, and it runs also just one time when the test runs, and we have after class that runs just one time at the end. So in the unit 5 we are not going to call it before class, but it's going to be called before all, and we see that we need to import it from unit Jupyter API, and the same goes here. So we are going to change that from unit 4 to unit 5, so it's after all, and before it's going to be before each. So it's making a lot more sense right now. So before each, after each, here also. And the test annotation is not going to be imported from the unit, but we are going to import it from a Jupyter also. So we have two options, unit 4 and unit 5. We are going to import it from here. And the assertions are not anymore asserts, but is assertions also here. So we are going to change all the asserts to assertions, and ignore. We didn't see this annotation, it's just ignore a test. So it's very simple. In unit 5 it's not called ignore, it's called disabled. So this one, and here like we are not going to use this expected, like this line, this is not going to be like that. We are going to use an assertion here, so it's going to be assertions, and we are going to assert and throw, and here is going to be the exception that we want, and we have a class, and here we have a lambda expression, because this is one of the most powerful things of unit 5. It supports all the Java 8 things for like lambda expression. Everything that was introduced in Java 8 version is unit 5 is going to support it, which is not present in unit 4. So we have a lambda expression, and we are going to bring that here. So our assertion, so like that, and here we have like some issue, so we need to set this this one to level 8. Just 1 second. So we just go here and model, and we need to change this to support the lambda expression. Apply and OK. is going to work. This guy is the same as this one, so we are not going to take that. So yeah, this is the differences between like junit 4 and junit 5. So we make a migration here. So I'm just going to run this to see if everything is okay. So we just need to wait a build. So it's a Java error compilation. We are going to check right now what is the issue. So we have Java 8. So let's check that. It's 5. It should be 8 actually. And let's do it again. Let's run all the tests. And yeah, so everything passed, which is very good. So this test like wasn't run because it's disabled. Here we are expecting an exception to be thrown, which is like was true. We can do something very interesting actually in Unit 5. We can like take this message here. We can assert on the exception. We can make an assertion, and we can assert equals that. No, that's actually we are going to take this exception. We are going to get the message, and we are going to take that to see if the message is exactly what we want. This is one thing, and we can take this, make it like a statically imported. So right now it looks like a little bit neater. So we can run this again. It's going to be be successful, and we can after that make a change to the message to check if this assertion is actually being checked as we expect. So we can make an A. So here we are expecting this message to be equal to that, which is not true. So we can see here why it's not true, because we are expecting this, but we actually got that, and we know that actually there is something another thing actually. For example, this before all and before each, we know that before all and after all, we know that those functions should be static, but it's not like really that important, because we are going to run that without a static method. It's going to throw an error, but it's going to give us like a recommendation. If you want not to use the static keyword, we can use a lifecycle, which is this one, and we can use it here, and we need to import that, and we can run the test again without the use of this static, and it's going to run like very beautifully. So we can see that, but actually it's not very recommended this way. It's more preferable to use the old way, static method, because it's way clearer actually. So this was the differences between Unit 4 and Unit 5. So before class becomes before all, after class becomes after all, and before and after becomes before each and after each. The assert become assertions, and the test annotation is imported from Jupyter, not just from Unit. Ignore became disabled, and we do not use that in the test when we throw some exception. We use an assertion for that, assert throws, and we can use like the variable that we get from this method and make more like assertion on this. So Unit 5 is actually very powerful. You are going to see in a lot of projects like if you work in some companies that they use both. Sometimes they use Unit 4 and Unit 5. There is a lot of like old code that use Unit 4, but actually Unit 5 it's more powerful, and it's a lot more like used. And we see how we can migrate from Unit 4 to 5, and you can also like make a migration from Unit 5 to 4. So there is nothing stopping you actually. So thank you so much, and let's like continue doing the tests in the next video.